Hey, welcome to day 27 of my spiritual journal with me, Iona Mead, so host of the Soul Legacy TV and YouTube podcast and founder of the SoulLegacyAcademy.com. So if you're watching this in the Soul Legacy Academy, welcome. If you're watching or listening to this on the YouTube podcast, then welcome. I think I've just clicked myself off the live. Hang on. Okay, because I just got a notification. All right, so today in my spiritual journal with me, if you don't have a spiritual journal, then grab one. So you might want to take some notes. I'm going to share what is in my spiritual journal. Every single day I go live talking about my spiritual journal, my spiritual routines, for light workers who want to live an intentional life. If you want to balance your light work and your lifestyle and actually have some spiritual business success without being busy, without being broke, and without experiencing burnout. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different and not as in depth as my previous live. So if you are new to me, then consider subscribing to the Soul Legacy TV YouTube podcast. I do come live every single day. And click this video and give it, hey beautiful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and click the notification button so that you'll know when I go live. So Robin, not of the Energy Healing School, is live on with me. So welcome, Robin. Hey, beautiful. So the spiritual journal with me. So this is my spiritual journal that I'm going to share with you that I go live. I actually have a confession in just a second that this journal is called the Soul Legacy Journal. It's a notebook actually, and it's called 365 Days of Your Spiritual Awakening Story. So it's perfect for the Spiritual Freedom Saturday. And I talk about a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers, and that just lights me up because I know that the spiritual part, the spiritual side, going through a dark night of the soul and the spiritual awakening is not fun, but the spiritual ascension and alchemizing our journey, like not going through this shit for nothing, is the most beautiful process if we allow it. So I want to share that with you. And if you've had a spiritual awakening or you're going through a spiritual awakening, then know that you're not alone. As part of the Soul Legacy TV YouTube podcast, I have the #1 Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit coming October through to April, where I will be interviewing fellow YouTubers on spiritual teachers, leaders, coaches, healers, and soul guided influencers and gurus on YouTube today, talking about spiritual awakening and actually contributing to my spiritual alchemy giveaway. So I'm really, really excited for that. I have a co-author book series on spiritual awakening as well. All the links and cards will be the links and the information will be in the cards and in the comments in the description below. So spiritual freedom. So what I usually do when I go live, and let me know if you are new to me, when I go live, I talk about my spiritual vision board. So yes, the vision boards are spiritual, but I've been told that my spiritual vision board challenge, I have a 5-day challenge, 7-day challenge, sorry, which is said to be really 5D. So that's what somebody said to me. A couple of people have said that to me when they've done it live with me. I do it live on the second week of December annually, so you can go through it at any time for free on the Soul Legacy TV, and you can also go through it with me in the Soul Legacy Academy and jump on my 2-hour monthly calls and get some coaching around your vision board. But the spiritual vision board challenge is just that. It goes beyond sticking pictures on a cork board. Let me know if you love a vision board, if you've done a vision board, if you've done my vision board. I teach you how to do a vision board, a digital one. You can put it on a cork board if you want to, but there's a deeper meaning. And so this spiritual journal, my rituals and my routines are supporting me in listening to my soul guidance, to the universe showing me the signs and the synchronicities and filling in. So every single day I talk about Robin, not of the Energy Healing TV and podcast. So I've just got to say that Robin is the lead soul guided instructor for the Soul Legacy Academy and the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, which I'm the producer of. And she actually says the Vision Board Challenge is amazing. Thank you, Robin, for your support. So Robin came on when I first did it. I've always done vision boards for a start. When I first came online back in 2008-9, my first ever website was makeyourownvisionboard.com. I used to call myself the vision coach. And you'll see in some of my testimonials, or my written testimonials more than my vision video ones, like the vision coach, referring to me as the vision coach. So I started back at then. And so Robin did my first ever vision board challenge the way that I teach it now, the way that I teach to go through a level of freedom in every single area of your life, including spiritual freedom. So if you are new to me, I cover, for me, intentional living is more than just tapping into the spirituality. It's tapping into your values and setting intentions in every single area of your life. So on the Soul Legacy TV, on Monday, we talk about contribution freedom, and we know that we have a purpose, we have a mission. So we bring our spirituality into our work in the world and into our light work, right? And then into our health on a Tuesday for Health Freedom Tuesday. I'm getting messages. I need to turn off my notifications. And then for our emotions, I talk about the emotional scale from Abraham Hicks, traveling up the emotional scale. And I don't know if you are familiar with that, but it's a beautiful way to look at emotions, meaning that hey everyone, awesome. Yeah, there's someone else on here. So say hi if you're new to me. So the emotional scale is just 22 points, and moving up the emotional scale in a spiritual way, really. And so the lowest point of the emotional scale, according to Abraham Hicks, is there's love and above, as well as an emotional scale, and a vibrational frequency is fear and grief. And I was at that. Going through a spiritual awakening has been triggered for me in many different ways, including loss. Loss of my son, loss of my dad, loss of my brother, my big brother. I'm the youngest of 7. Many people around me, and for me, life looked and felt very differently. So I kind of fell into that spirituality. I kind of fell into that, oh, we're more than just a body. And so I'm going to talk about a book that I listened to today, which is one of my favorite books, called The Untethered Soul. I'm going to talk about soul a lot. I talk about Soul Legacy TV, Soul Legacy Academy, Soul Legacy Journal, because we're souls, right? So that's the emotional scale. On Thursdays, I'm laughing because my daughter is actually messaging me. She's funny. She's a beautiful soul. So I believe our children choose us, right? We choose them. And my children chose me to have this experience, which has helped me to have the experience with you. So I just wanted to acknowledge that my daughter at this time, because I'm a little bit later than when I normally go live. So environment, your environment, the spiritual places on the planet, but we are vibrating at a frequency and we are connected collectively, right? So that environment that you choose to have yourself in, to vibrate at, your vibration is affecting my vibration. So for me, bringing spirituality and then the signs and then the synchronicities and how the universe moves to show us our vision board is just beautiful. Spiritual Freedom Fridays, soul connections, soul conversations, soul clients, soul tribe. We bring spirituality into everything. We bring the focus of spirituality into everything. It's just, it's spiritual regardless whether you believe it or not. And then spiritual freedom Saturdays, which is today, and then financial freedom Saturday. And so I'm getting more messages. Why am I getting messages? I haven't had that messages all day long. And I just got a message, Robin, one from my daughter, which I believe in the synchronicities, right? Let me talk about financial freedom first, with the vibration and the energy of money, because we're going to talk about that with vibrational money. And we've had a conversation about the vibration, right? So I just got a message from my daughter, a notification. Love it. She's 19 and she's just the most beautiful soul ever. I love her. Obviously you love your kids, but do you get what I mean? Like, she just lights me up. And I just got a message from a beautiful soul that I met on Facebook, which I'm not on the socials, I'm not on the Facebook platform, because I don't resonate with the vibration of it, right? But I had messaged a couple of people sharing what you do, Robin, and I just had a message about that, and her saying that she's clearing her space and things. So Robin now is doing a 5-day money blocks clearing challenge. He'll do it live. It's coming up live. I'm going to be on that live, and then it's going to be on replay for those of you watching on the replay. But the energy of that, just putting out that energy and connecting with the people that you're here to serve, is just so beautiful. And having the financial freedom based on service is the most spiritual thing. And I realize that serving, but selling, for me, I don't sell, I enroll. And so when you know that level of freedom, and Robin, you talk about that selling and that financial freedom being self-love, and I think we just serve when we focus on serving and being in service in the world. And I don't mean just saying, oh, well, I'm just going to serve and I'm going to serve everybody for free, and then hopefully the money will come to me. It's not that. So Robin will talk about on the 5-day money blocks clearing challenge, the vibration and the energy, because Robin does energy healing, right? The vibration and the energy of money, but not only just money, but all of the energy blocks, all of trauma, all the things that happen to you, like all of those things. It's just, that's the most spiritual and beautiful thing I think you can ever do, is go through be brave enough to get to the end of your spiritual awakening, because I'm sure that some people don't. Going through the dark night of the soul is dark. And the book that I was listening to today is called The Untethered Soul, and something hit me. I went for a walk out in nature. This live is not planned. I will dive into my journal, but I didn't journal today, so that I gave myself ease, grace and flow, because I had something on today and it'll tie into my vision. When I went for my walk and I was listening to The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and let me know if you've ever heard of that book, it dropped on me. So my twin flame and I, that was our favorite book. We just loved The Untethered Soul. If you don't know about it, it's basically about soul and expressing your soul self. And last night I was watching something talking about a word that I'd not heard, soul awareness. And so basically today I got that sign again today. And so he was talking about revealing the observer in you. When people say, who am I, what am I, or who am I, they start to identify with the humanness. And he basically goes layer and layer and layer, deep layers, and he says, you're the observer, you're the witness, you're the person that's listening to the voice in your head, you know, that mind chatter. You're the person that's listening to that. And this year 2022, I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to be the observer of me. And hearing him saying that, it's soul awareness. I believe that spirituality for me, not religion, I'm not religious, that soul awareness, like literally observing the voice in your head, the things that you tell yourself. And he says basically, would you be friends with the voice in your head? Would you, if you sat that voice in your head like down as a person, would you be friends with it? And would you actually talk to it ever again? The things that you say to yourself, it's absolutely insane. It's like, no, you wouldn't be that mean to anyone. Robin says yes. Yes to The Untethered Soul. Have you? And he does, he's got The Surrender Experiment, which I haven't read, but that'll be next. But I love it. So every day I listen to something that fuels my soul, fuels my mind, so that I can grow. And Robin, when you talk about the money blocks, and I say, you know, your income, T. Harv Eker says, your income can only grow to the extent that you do. And I feel like that spiritual growth is something that I know if I'm not making the level of money, the financial freedom, if I'm not there, that means I'm not serving. And I'm not, I might be showing up, I might be speaking up, but I'm not serving deep. And I equate the financial freedom to how deeply am I serving. And it's such a beautiful way to bring spirituality into your spiritual business and that spiritual business success, rather than pushing away from it. Success means whatever success means to you. But when we're busy and when we're broke and when we're burnt out, we're not at the highest vibration, and we're not listening or observing that soul awareness. We're in that self-awareness, yes, but we might not even be aware. We're just consumed by all of these thoughts, and all of these thoughts are not being good enough and not feeling worthy and feeling like life is rubbish and think, all this thing. I just love it. So let me talk about my vision in the spiritual journal. As part of my rituals and my routines is I usually rate myself every single day based on something that I cover in my spiritual vision board, which is called Soul Legacy Wheel. And the Soul Legacy Wheel, if you do know, then this is just always a reminder of do this on a daily basis. When I'm journaling in my Soul Legacy journal, I'm journaling based on my Soul Legacy Wheel. So I have my Soul Legacy Wheel at the forefront of my mind to create that harmony and create that balance, create that spiritual freedom, and bringing that spiritual freedom into every single area of my life and not forgetting. And so I have the Soul Legacy Wheel, which is basically similar to the Wheel of Life. If you've ever done a Wheel of Life, Google it. The Wheel of Life segments your life into areas, whatever area you choose. I personally choose these 7 freedoms, I call them, for intentional living. And when I segment my life, when I did segment my life on a wheel of life, I kind of look at it like people talk about like the law of attraction and how fulfilled do you feel. And the law of attraction is amazing, which is spiritual laws, right? But underneath that is vibration. And so the wheel of life didn't feel like enough for me. I wanted to create a legacy. It wasn't just about me living my life in this humanness. I wanted to leave a legacy. So for the Soul Legacy Academy, I talk about launching, leading, and leaving your soul legacy. But many people think that your legacy, your soul legacy, is kind of something that happens after you pass, after you make your transition. Like I said, lots of people have transitioned in my life, really close to me. For me, I wanted to say, actually, it's the last day that you saw that person, the last conversation that you had with that person. So what I realized is it's how I launch my day, how I lead my day, and how I leave my day is my soul legacy now. And when I made that distinction of, oh, well, I'm just living my life, and then what happens to me, people will remember me. I wanted to be very intentional about the life that I have, about every single day that I'm living, every single day. I'm very intentional about every single day. And I'm very mindful of what I allow into my mind and what I sift and sort through my mind, and just having that soul awareness, having that human experience, because we did come onto the earthly plane at this time for a reason, for a purpose. And so the Soul Legacy Wheel, I have the 7 freedoms, and I think of the wheel, I put the world in the middle of the wheel, and the world as us now in this physical, we're in it. We incarnated here, we decided, hey, I'm gonna come into this human experience. And that's fine when you look at the world in that way, but it pushes and pulls you. It's not that soul awareness, right? Might have some self-awareness, but it's not that soul awareness. But for us, when we're doing our rating and we're raising our vibrational frequency between 1, you don't get a 0 like on the wheel of life, because you're breathing, be grateful. we go 1 to 11. So we raise our vibrational frequency, and the 11 is like a barrier through that wheel. And I have a dark rim around the wheel. You'll see the visual on the Spiritual Vision Board Challenge. I have a dark rim around that wheel, and that's that dark night of the soul. Once you push through that awareness, there's kind of no going back. And you start to look down then at the world from that soul awareness, looking at the world through the lens of your soul. So life doesn't then push and pull you. You don't get pushed by finances. You don't get pushed by your business. You don't get pushed and triggered by all of the emotions. You witness those emotions. You witness your environment. You witness your relationships. And it's very different. It's the most beautiful thing that I've ever had that soul awareness about. And I'm like, oh, well, I want more people to have that. It's like that. I call it going from a poverty consciousness to a prosperity consciousness, that collective. And I know the people that I serve, you say, I get it, I'm spiritual, I'm aware, I've had a spiritual awakening. And then there's moments where you just drop out of that awareness, out of that soul awareness, and we are souls, and that's fine, and it is contrast, but it's having that expansiveness to just look at each area of your life. So I rate between a 1 and 11 how high vibe I feel, how connected I feel to my soul guidance, how I'm listening. So that those downloads, So I rated myself an 11 today. Let me know how you feel, how connected you feel to your higher self, how you're moving and flowing through life, through your business, how you're feeling on a daily basis. When we look at spirituality or that soul awareness, do you have the soul awareness in your work, in your light work, in your spiritual business, as you want to build your spiritual business? What is it that you're really here to do? What is it that your soul is really here to express? So I talk about vision, values, and vibration, and I'm kind of merging that. What you value, I believe, is like your North Star. I call them North Star values. Are you living in alignment with your values, or are you being pushed and pulled by life and not observing, just all over the place with your soul work? I call it soul work. How are you feeling in your health? Yes, we are soul, but we have this human experience. And I want to live to, I'm 100, I say 101 if I want. But my grandmother lived to 101. And I remember when I got to the age of 40, I'm now 48, almost 49 in August, and in 2022. And when I turned 40, I was like, oh, people said, oh, we're at midlife, right? And my grandmother had turned 100 in the June, and we went over to the Caribbean. I tell this story that, she was dancing, she was like drinking rum, she was on the dance floor, and like Black people on the dance floor in the Caribbean. It's just like a story in and of itself. Our family loved dancing. And we were celebrating, and I got to see her being 100. So when I came back to the UK from the Caribbean, I had the biggest spring in my step. And if you've ever been in my world or you've seen my masterclass, you'll see an outfit that I have. It's like a black jumpsuit, but short. That was me coming back from the Caribbean. And I actually wore it my last birthday with my daughter when she turned 18. My son was 18 then. I came back with a spring in my step, and I was aware that my health, I could potentially live to 100, and I wanted to look after myself. And then a month after, I became a grandmother myself, and I was like, wow, like this is real legacy. I get to leave a legacy. And then 10 days after my granddaughter was born, my dad passed. And I was like, what the heck? And it was very sudden. And I was there. And oh gosh, it is at that point where I realized we are souls having a human experience. Like literally, if you've ever been in that position, you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, wow. And I get the guidance from those that have transitioned, from my son, from my dad, readings and different things. I'm about to have another one soon. I've had people come through, not through me, because that freaks me out, but I've been to people, or people have actually said to me, Robin says her rating is a 9 this week. Love it. Well done, Robin. Thank you for sharing that. What I'd love to know is if you want to share. If you don't, then that's fine. If you want to share in the Soul Legacy Academy, that's absolutely fine. What I do have is I pause my calls for now, but we do have the 7 Freedoms calls for a private space to work through, like, why is your rating at this? How can we up level it to this? What's going on? What do we need to clear? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But when we think of that rating, and when my rating dips, it's like, that's perfect for me to say, okay, what am I doing? What was it last week? What do I want it to be next week? And then I can set my soul's intentions and expand into that and witness myself expanding into that. It's like, what would make this, when anybody gets on a call with me, I go, what would make this a call amazing? Or what was your takeaway from this call? So it's like, what would you like to take away from the next? My alarm is set for 2022 to leave my day reading Think and Grow Rich. But yeah, so what is it privately, write in your Soul Legacy journal. I call it soul funk and soul flow. So if you're feeling a bit of soul funk and you're not at 11, write that out. Just get it out, what's going on, whether it's external stuff, which it usually is, human stuff. And if you've ever worked through a similar situation that's coming up for you, it's usually a pattern, it's usually a cycle, it's usually the voice in your head. And write those out, and write them out. And this is for you, Robin, and everyone. And then think of the emotion that is attached to it on the emotional scale, Abraham Hicks emotional scale. You find it in the book Ask and It Is Given. You'll find it online. And then see what triggers you to get to that emotion. What is the external human stuff, the pattern or the voice in your head that gets you to that emotion and takes you downward spiral, down the emotional scale? And what do you have to say to yourself to move back up the emotional scale? Because we don't stay there, right? We spiral up, we spiral down. But when we know our pattern, then it's not usually that many things that take us out. It's the same things that we're saying over and over again. And so that's what Michael Singer was saying in The Untethered Soul. It's that voice in our head, and not having that soul awareness that it is our voice in the head. And he says, you know, when you're in the shower and you're listening, I know you love showers and light showers and stuff like that. I don't know if you've been doing that lately, Robin, with the light showers. Robin's got lots of different tools and things to support you in all of the spiritual and the energy clearing. So basically, when you're doing that rating, think about what is the humanness, and I feel in that soul awareness. And I can't remember what I was saying before that, but it's okay if you remind me, Robin. So vision board, the spiritual vision board challenge. It's 1 week to cheers to financial freedom frequency. I can't even remember, but to get your spiritual routines and rituals to support you. On my vision board, I have lots of different things, but environment's really huge for me. I was talking about me going on my walk today. Robin says, oh yes, I still use light showers. So that's, again, bringing the spirituality into everything that you do. Like that Untethered Soul is a really great book for that, for being present. All of the things. Let me know what you use for your spiritual routines and rituals. And that's a spiritual routine and ritual based on something that you would do for your health. I like to merge all of my spiritual practices, as many as I can. I love leverage. So it's like, if you get in the shower, do a light shower, do a mantra, play music, listen to whatever. Do you know what I mean? I love it. For my vision board and my health, I like to get out in nature. I like to do a walk. So I actually did a walk today, and I went to have a look at a house in a different location. an exchange of a house. And when I worked in the house, it's a nice house, do you know what I mean? Needed some work and stuff. I started to look at, and they came to look at my house. They came to look at my house, and when you look at your own environment through somebody else's lens, it looks very different. So I was looking at my house from an observing perspective, and I'm like, can I see myself living there? My dream home is a barn conversion, but while I'm on the journey to manifesting that, it's like, where do I want to live? Who do I want to live with? What do you know? What do I want to have around me? And there's a lake that is near there. So when I go on my walks or my runs, I'm always walking back to there. My son actually lived there when he made his transition. My granddaughter's parents still live there. My granddaughter's mum still lives it. It's only like 3 miles down the road, but it's just, I'm always drawn back. I used to ride there from the town that I'm here in now 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and go and meditate at the lake. So I'm like, oh, imagine the meditation. It's literally, she said, the woman said today, it's literally a stone throw away. So that, even though I'm not at the level of, oh, well, I'll have my banger version tomorrow, it's like, how can I change my environment now? I don't know whether that will happen or not, but I'm visualizing and meditating of altering my space. I've been in this house for like 9 years, and it's nice. It's a beautiful house. The location, I would like to change. So Robin says, in response to what I was saying, is that's probably what helps it to stay at 9 instead of dipping even more. Okay, cool. So do you know, well, I know you know, so for anyone that's watching on the replay, when you have that rating, and it is great that you acknowledge that actually it's because of my awareness, it's because of the spiritual journey, it's because of the tools that I use, is why. And it doesn't have to be an 11. However, the aim is 11, but it doesn't have to stay at 11. So what's on through the Soul Legacy Journal, the spiritual journaling with me, and the idea of these daily vlogs is for me to hold myself accountable to vibing at the emotional, the highest frequency, which is love. Right, we are love, and you talk about this, Robin, with the self-love, right? So it's vibrating at that frequency. And even if it's not the whole day, remembering like the most of the day where we vibing at that, and having that collective rating that's love, freedom, joy, empowerment, and knowledge. And so for me, mostly for me, it's knowledge, and joy. I'm joyful, and the love thing, like I'm like, I'm just super grateful and in love with the process and in love with the journey. But I'm always fueling my mind, and so I'm at that highest vibration. When we are at the fear, worry, doubt, all of the things that go down the emotional scale, it's usually because we're locking into that, and we don't have to. We can if we want to, but we don't have to be pushed and pulled as much. We'll always have contrast. We're here for that human experience, but it doesn't have to be all day, and it doesn't have to be the next day and the next day, because things, you end up just spiraling down. And also, if it was lower last week and it's higher this week, that's like, yes. Do you know what I mean? So just because when we rate, we'll rate every single day. So I've rated every single day so far. So this is my rating for the week. Contribution freedom was an 11. How I feel like I'm contributing in the world, how connected I feel. I've set my intentions. I'm looking at my spiritual vision board every single day. 11. It's that feeling inside, that internal gauge. 10 was for health freedom. 11 was for emotional freedom. 9 was for environmental freedom. 11 was for relationship freedom, and spiritual freedom is 11. So on that soul legacy wheel that I talked about, that looks like the wheel of life, when coaches, because that's what the tool was created for in the coaching space, They rate from 0 to 10. And the idea is to rate how fulfilled you feel at that given moment in each area of your life, and then join up the dots on the wheel and see how that wheel would roll down the road, whether it would be a bumpy ride. So in other words, creating balance. So some people call that living a level 10 life. Hello, Rod of the Miracle Morning. He talks about living a level 10 life. And I say living a level 11 life is that soul awareness, that being connected, being in harmony, that harmony. And Robin, you have the chakras and blocking your chakras. And I imagine that when I did that wheel, it's like that just going the way that it should be going. Do you know what I mean? Almost like without putting stuff in that, do you know what I mean? Like putting things in the spokes of your wheel, it would just fucking run fine. It's like, stop putting spokes in the wheel and it'll go fine. That's what just came up for me. So Robin says, right, and it's the average over the week. So there's movement within that time frame. Yeah. So then when we do the rating, this is how I imagined it. I envisioned it when I first did this. It might not be like 11 the whole time, but you'll see that frequency like a bar, like a line. So my line would look kind of like with the 11, then the 10, then the 11, then the 9, then the 11, then do you know what I mean? So by the end of the week, you have the total score of out of 77, which is beautiful, right? Out of 77. And so you give yourself a rating and it's rating based on you. If you're in the Soul Legacy Academy, then you can buddy up with the Soul Accountability Buddy student and do the ratings together. Come to the 7 Freedoms frequency call, share with me your rating. But basically, it's out of 77. So I'll total up my scores and I'll look back and I'll go, yes, what worked? What did I plan? What was intentional? And then that's my legacy. For that week, that is my legacy. That is how I've impacted the planet by my own vibration. I swear this live wasn't supposed to be that long. From I can talk for it. I haven't done that much. So this is how much I've journaled today. Hang on, where is it? This side. Look. That's how much is missing. So I've got a quote. I haven't even got a card to pull today because we had 2 yesterday. That's how much I was journaling. I haven't done my journaling. I'm kind of just vibing of that spiritual. That's how it feels. So lots of people say to me, I don't love camera. I don't want to come on camera. I don't want to do a live. But I teach about doing YouTube for your spiritual business because it's a beautiful platform and going live. When you're living what it is that you're sharing, it becomes just so beautiful. I love it. So vibing. So we'll do the rating over the week. So that's why I say, do it every day. Get your Soul Legacy journal out, rate yourself, connect with your vision, hear what you're saying, get out your soul flow, into your soul flow, get out your soul funk. So vision, values, and vibration. Let me talk about the money voucher. And then I've just got a quote for the day, and then we'll wrap up. So the money voucher for vibration. So I talk about that soul legacy wheel. Many times we don't realize that we are impacting others based on the business that we have, the health. We're leaving a legacy, a health legacy, a purpose for the business, for our work in the world, the people that we impact, no matter what work it is that we do. We're leaving a legacy emotionally. Think about what's being passed down to you and the traumas and the great stuff. Think about your environment. So a house, my dad left us a house, part of his legacy. Your relationships, the kind of relationships that you have, who you have a relationship with impacts your children, your grandbabies, or the whole family. That is a legacy in of itself. And some people leave a great legacy and some people don't. Spirituality, obviously, the legacy of our soul, because we have that connection and that guidance, and the legacy of finances. Many times as light workers, we might not feel like intentional living is being intentional with our finances, but it's being intentional with every single area of your life. And so we come to that financial freedom. So I say the 7 freedoms, the cheers to financial freedom frequency. how we're emitting that energy. And that's that rating of how in tune are we on a daily basis with our own vision, with our own soul's expression, with our finances, with money. As we build a spiritual business, the spiritual business success, we want to build a spiritual business model that is leveraging our light work and our lifestyle. And so I talk about this. I could talk about it forever. I will talk about it more on a Contribution Freedom Monday. But I do share teachings in my Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass and the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge. And so I will leave the link in the description and in the comments. I'll pin it in the comments for my masterclass. It's a 4-hour masterclass. There's bonus training. It's an amazing masterclass, I believe, because I've been told it's an amazing masterclass. But I do it live on the last Monday of the month at 3 p.m. UK time. So whenever you're watching this, come and join me. And I talk about showing up, speaking out, and serving deep, and signing up your high paying soul clients. And so many times as light workers, and by high paying soul clients, I'm working one to many and creating passive income streams. I don't mean outpricing people like a ridiculous amounts of money that like people can't afford to work with you. I don't believe in that. I made a vow when I figured this out, as I say, I would share it far, wide, and deep, and never let anybody be outpriced on my services. So I honor that, and I honor that with my pricing scale, which is spiritual, the 5s for me, and I teach you to create whatever pricing scale that you want to. Mine is $55 for my 5-day YouTube from scratch challenge. My 12-week bootcamp, the Soul Legacy Launch Blueprint, which is $555. And then my mastermind, which is $5,555, right? And I have payment plans and all of the things. And that, bringing that spirituality in. So I'd love to share that with you, with the vibration and the energy of money, bringing that spirituality is why I do the Soul Legacy Journal. And I say that this Soul Legacy Journal is a magic journal, right? And it gives you $1,000, pounds, or euros every single day for you to spend. So when you're creating this great big vision on your vision board, oftentimes there's a mismatch, there's a gap, right? So you have this life and you want to be there living that life. So how do we actually bridge that gap, right? We don't just magically sit in this life and then tomorrow we're sitting in the next life. There's a transitional phase. There's actions, that soul guided actions that we'll take. There is things that will come into opportunities. They say that, you know, like the tools, the places, the people will show up when you're ready, when you're in alignment. So we're doing this work for you to be ready. So if there's a gap there and finances is part of that gap, so I want to travel the world, I'm going to need some finances for that. I want to move location, I'm going to need some money for that. So we talk about environmental freedom, and I might have this environment of doing a retreat or going sailing around the world or going on an Abraham Hicks cruise or buying a barn conversion. It takes money. So when we say it's not spiritual to have money, it actually impacts the experiences that we have in life. And if you are at that point where you're looking around your life at these areas of your life and you're like, I feel a sense of lack. I feel a sense of poverty consciousness. I feel a sense of, you know, I want to up level this. We use our vibrational money voucher to help us bridge that vibrational gap. I know that you know that unless we feel it vibrationally first, we're just not manifesting it. And that's not me making up the rules. That is how the law of vibration works. Say the law of attraction, like attracting, but really you're emitting first. The law of vibration is emitting and being on that vibrational level for your soul clients, for your soulmate, for whatever it is that you want to manifest, for the house. Even though I don't have my barn conversion, there's the synchronicities, there's the business model that's come. It's just beautiful. So we take this vibrational money voucher and you get to spend it. And this was influenced and inspired by Abraham Hicks. So Esther channels Abraham, right? That's spiritual in itself. Some people love it, some people don't. I do. And they use the prosperity game, and they give you, in their book called Ask and It Is Given, they give you $1,000 every single day, and then they keep adding to it. So on day 1 it's $1,000, on day 5 it's 5,000, then day 50, 50,000, and you've got to spend this money. And if you do it for a year, you spend 66 million. Can you imagine spending 66 million dollars in, or pounds or euros, in a year? 60, like the brain power that needs to spend 66 million vibrationally. So what I wanted to do was bank 50k in 50 days, because that was my financial freedom goal. And so I've made up the soul income game, giving you this vibrational money from the Soul Legacy Journal. And you get to spend it. So you spend it and you tithe 10%. That's the rule. Tithe 10% to a worthy cause. So I tithe 10% to a cause called Cruise Bereavement Care, which I dedicate my soul work to my son, who made his transition almost 7 years ago now. And I had someone come and support me, like literally support me. If I wasn't on the spiritual path that I was on, I wouldn't be here. Like, and the person that came, she's a great dear friend now. The person that came is spiritual, very spiritual, into all of this. And I said that I just learned, doing my interview series for the first time, my summit back then, and I said, oh, somebody's talking about an empath. I think I'm an empath. She said, I know that you're an empath. And I was like, oh. She said, well, you didn't know? She's like, she does some she's really craftsy and artsy. She does counseling. She's just amazing. And when I did my first meetup group, she came and she helped me with it. Oh, hang on. She helped me with my meetup group. It was called Gifted to Shine. She's just amazing. Anyway, so that's what I tied my 10% to. Even in the moments of the grief and the loss of my son, the person that was there to support me doing her light work in the world was just brought to me like divinely. And so I have a tribute site to my son, which is again another spiritual thing, called Much Loved. And you can donate to Much Loved if you choose to. I'd love it. And that goes to Cruise Bereavement Care. And it was years after that I set this up, and I told her about it, and she said, oh, my mum's on that site. And I was like, oh, wow. Robin says, got to run, beautiful. Thank you for showing up and walking us through the spiritual journaling. Oh, love you, beautiful. So that's the money voucher. Spend the money voucher on whatever it is that you need. On Sunday, tomorrow, I will share that I spend my money voucher. And so I tithe 10% every single day, and then I carry over the remaining balance. You can spend it on that day, but I carry over the remaining balance to a Sunday. And then I really go in on my vision and what it is that I want to create, what it is that I want to manifest, so that I'm spending that vibrational money voucher. And again, Robin has of the Energy Healing TV and podcast. And if you haven't subscribed to her channel, feel free to do that. She'll talk about the 5-day money challenge, money blocks clearing challenge. And if you have those money blocks and this is a beautiful way to try that on and see how that money feels. And then we say that Robin does the inner work with you as my lead soul guided instructor for the Soul Legacy Academy .com and for the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, and I'll help you with the outside stuff. So I have that bank 50k in 50-day challenge, and that vibrational money voucher has actually altered my vibration in the most beautiful way. That spiritual freedom for me, healing my relationship with money. So that is what I want to say for that. And then I did say I would wrap up. So thank you, Robin, for spending that time with me. Beautiful. So the quote for today is by Albert Einstein. So it says, if most of us are ashamed of shoddy clothes and shoddy furniture, let us be more ashamed of shoddy ideas and shoddy philosophies. So if most of us are ashamed of shoddy clothes and shoddy furniture, let's be more ashamed of shoddy ideas and shoddy philosophy. I second that motion. And that is a wrap for the spiritual journey with me. Thank you for spending this time with me. Really love you, appreciate you. I appreciate the soul connection. Invite someone to come and do a spiritual journal. Again, the spiritual awakening stories, when you journal, I also use a digital journal to capture any images. I took pictures and videos today, just really beautiful. When we do that, we are recording every single day of our spiritual awakening, and we get to look back and see our journal and we see our journey, and that is how it becomes a legacy. So this is Iona Mead, your soul sister, signing off. I shall see you tomorrow for Financial Freedom Sunday. Take care. Big love.